9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin.
Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on liquid air, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, good people? Happy Wednesday to you. Another step closer to the All-Star game, getting towards the weekend. A lot of things kind of popped off last couple days. First and foremost, the Fever got their ass whooped today. I don't know if you guys saw my video, but I went back and looked in the backyard, looked on my grill because they got cooked, looked in the trash because they didn't have no jumpers. And that's how they was playing, like trash. But I noticed a lot of people, and I tend to see this a lot. All of a sudden, Stephanie White can't coach. Same thing happened in Chicago. Same thing happened in Dallas. When you lose it, all of a sudden they can't coach. Now, last I checked, Stephanie White hasn't hit one jumper, hasn't set one pick, hasn't pulled one rebound, hasn't made one pass or turnover. Stephanie White is not on the court. And y'all know my thoughts on this. You can only blame a coach so much when you missing open shots. Because guess what? Nobody had a problem with Stephanie White when Caitlin Clark dropped 32 on New York a couple weeks ago before she got hurt. Nobody had a problem with Stephanie White then. And she was pretty much running the same offense, and everybody was doing the same things. The only difference is their shots was falling in New York. So how did things change? They changed because Caitlin Clark wasn't hitting shots, wasn't hitting threes. They battled back a little bit, and then midway through the second quarter, that was a wrap. Like they couldn't do anything. Like it wasn't even funny. And let me see. Like, look at this. So you're talking about halfway through the second quarter, right here. Golden State took the lead. You were tied for a little bit, and then gone. Because this is the lead tracker. So the further you go up or down is the amount of points you have in the lead. So, for instance, right here, going into the third quarter, Golden State had an 8-point lead. Right here in the first quarter, Indiana had a 9-point lead a couple times, but they couldn't maintain it. They could not maintain it. They got it back up a little bit of ways, like 4 minutes into the second, and then they lost it. It was good until it wasn't. And then you see all of this, and that's when Golden State just took over, opened up a can of whoop ass, and just went to work. But none of this is Stephanie White's fault. You can't. And remember that, and this is how I track it. Yeah, that Carlos, thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna show you that. So look at this. So let's go second quarter. right? 21-24, you still in the lead. 21-25, still in the lead. They hit a two, one possession game. We hit a three, two possession game. 7-point lead. Now, here's where it kind of falls apart. So right here, uh, Natasha Howard, offensive foul. Then we turn the ball over. Then we turn the ball over. Then we get a rebound. And then we miss a shot. Get another rebound. Turnover. And then we go 8 minutes. Well, no, this is still the second quarter. So we done went from 6:27. So let's just say 6:30, just to make it even. 6 minutes 30 seconds. We don't score again until 4 minutes 40 seconds. So that's 2 minutes where we didn't score. And then you stuck on 32, stuck on 32, stuck on 32, stuck on 32, stuck on 32. We didn't score. And I mean, let's be real. We scored 2 points. We scored 2 points from 7:43 in the first. I'm sorry, 7:43 in the second quarter, all the way until 8:27 left in the third. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And when you follow the game, when you follow the game, listen, Steven, I don't know, is it Steven or Stephen? But in any case, I agree with you. You cannot like the lineup. You cannot like the lineup. But even with the bad lineup, if you watch the game, there were open shots that they didn't make. You Ari McDonald. Now, y'all already know. Ari Stay Ready McDonald. That's my nickname for her because she stays ready. And she's been balling. However, from the time she got here, you know if she's gonna infiltrate and she's gonna penetrate the lane, she's gonna have problems and she's going down there by them trees. If she ain't drawing a foul, her stuff gonna get smidacked to the third row. And that's exactly what happened. When you facing bigs like that, you gotta cross them over, go through your legs, step back, and create a whole lot of space. And because you're so short, you got to get that shot up quick. You were doing that before. So it's not like she can't do it. It's not like Erin McDonald can't get those shots up. She just didn't do it that game, and Golden State played defense. And now this is where I will blame Stephanie White because they run that play where Caitlin Clark they always hand off her the ball up top, and she's either in one corner or the other. And if she comes back around, and teams have gotten used to where the man on her will bounce her up, and they'll get support and wall her off. And then she'll either pick up her dribble, got to pass the ball, or something. But they keep her from dribbling across the baseline or getting anywhere inside the arc. They done figured that out. I must have saw that 4 to 5 times or more. And every time she did it, Golden State would switch, and they was somebody else that would block her from going around either around the corner or coming back the other way. They got it perfect. They've been watching film on that play. Because what that does is normally if Caitlin Clark gets around that corner, somebody's got to come help. And either Lexi or Sophie or whoever's on that baseline will cut to the rim, and that's when Caitlin will get one of those passes in. But if she never gets to that spot, she can't make that pass. And that was a great job of defending that play. And in essence, shutting Caitlin Clark down. She could never get to her spots to either get a shot up or make the pass. It wasn't the 3 points. It wasn't any of that. She had a decent day from three, I believe. Let me see. She was 2 for 5 for three. So she had a decent day. She just didn't chuck up a lot of shots. Only had 4 turnovers. So that was, anytime you 5 or less, I'm good with that. So she didn't turn the ball over, but she didn't get an opportunity to get to the rack. And Golden State was playing good defense. And again, this is the second time a team have played Indiana really tough. And what do you think all the other teams are going to do? They're going to watch this tape and see what Nakase drew up against Caitlin Clark. Everybody's going to guard her the same way now. So now it's on Stephanie White. This is the chess match. They done figured out the play that they run to get Caitlin Clark free on the corners. And they're not having it. So now Stephanie White got to come up with something else. That's the chess match. So after the break, I need to see what changes Stephanie White has made. And then after that, if you want to criticize her and all of that kind of stuff, go ahead. What's up, D? I don't think it's that simple. I don't. It's a lot of people, and again, I guess I'll blame it on um maybe these are people that haven't really watched the W. You don't just jettison the coach because you go through some spots. Again, what nobody trying to get rid of Stephanie White when Caitlin Clark did what she did versus New York. So the situation has remained constant. The only thing that has changed is that the Fever weren't making shots. Kelsey Mitchell, 3 of 13. Is she back in the slump? 1 for 5 from three. Is she back in the slump again? 12 points. She was minus 16 for the day. So only Damiris Dantas and Sydney Colson were in the plus column. Come on. Come on. So, in my opinion, that ain't Stephanie White. I don't care who you can get Pat Riley to coach this team. But if the offense is not making shots, it doesn't matter who's coaching. That's why I don't put so much on the coaches. Now, when you get into a situation and the game gets tight and you draw up some plays to get the opportunity, a prime example is the first game that Indiana lost to New York. That last play, Natasha Cloud got her hand in there, disrupted the play, and it ended how it ended. Indiana didn't even get a shot off. Probably should have been a foul, but they didn't call it. So it is what it is. But getting that inbounds play, everybody and their mama knows it's going to Caitlin Clark. But the best 3-point shooter at that particular time in the league is Lexi Hall. So if Caitlin Clark is going to get all the attention, you got to get the ball to either Lexi or Kelsey. Period. And she didn't even get the shot off. So I don't have no problem with the play because that was good defense by Natasha Cloud. So I'm saying all that to say the play that Stephanie White drew up worked. And then when Caitlin got the ball, Natasha D'd her up. She didn't get the foul call. Game over. That ain't Stephanie White's fault. That ain't Stephanie White's fault. And Stephanie White going off on the team and she doing it what every coach is supposed to do. Becky Hammond just did it a couple days ago when we beat them. Everybody gets a turn. We whooped ass on Las Vegas, and then Golden State whooped ass on us. That's the way it goes, is back and forth. However, what you can't do is try to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Do you think Chicago's in a better situation with them getting rid of Teresa Weatherspoon after a year? Do you think Chicago is in a better spot now? Absolutely not. You at least got to give a coach 2 to 3 years so she can figure out what she wants to do. You got to give it to her. I have no doubt whatsoever that Chicago would have been in a much better situation had Teresa Weatherspoon stayed. I'll even go a step further. If they would have kept Kennedy Carter and Teresa Weatherspoon, but they couldn't do that. They couldn't do that. Jeff P was not a fan of Weatherspoon, and Kennedy Carter did what she did, and she sabotaged her own career. So, I like Kennedy Carter. I thought Kennedy Carter should have been the sixth man of the year last year, but she grown and she making grown folks decisions. She just happened to be making the wrong ones. So it is what it is, but you can't tell me Chicago wouldn't be a better team, especially the way Angel Reese is playing right now. Forget all of the nonsense. You got a star player playing well now. She started off slow and everybody piled on her. She was trash, told you she wasn't no good in the first place, all of that kind of stuff. Now she a walking double-double. And people still don't want to give her credit for that. So what's up, Tiff? Yeah, she did say that. However, it didn't happen today. So they got to think of she got to think of something else. Or she got to implement that better. I don't necessarily think maybe they won't go back to that small team again with Ari McDonald and Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. Ari McDonald is as much hustle as she has, she gets lost in the weeds. So she has got to find her spots and get that shot up in the air, or they're going to always be in trouble because the way that everybody's playing her. Ari McDonald looks like she's going to break in two every time somebody gets her with a pick. Her feet and hands go flying because she's just small. And you going up against somebody that's 6'3", 6'4", you basically flipping over. That's a hip toss. That's a hip toss. So they got to come up with something better. Now, I trust that Stephanie White is a good enough coach that she's going to adjust her chess pieces on the board and make the right decisions. She's a good enough coach to make those decisions. Now we in the back half of the season, because now it really matters. Do I think that Indiana's going to make the playoffs? Yes. Yes, I do. So you got 20 games to figure it out, and all you got to do is get yourself positioned in the playoffs, because in my opinion, there is nobody in this league that can't get beat. New York was looking good early, and then they fell off. I don't know if Jonquel Jones was that important to him, but she's going to be coming back. She's going to be coming back soon. But if I remember correctly, that first game in New York, we should have beat them. And I believe, was Jonquel Jones playing that game, or was she hurt back then? Either way, we got to deal with it. And everybody's been beat. Everybody's been beat. So New York, hold on. 6th, 7th, today's the 8th. So Phoenix was on the run. Atlanta beat Golden State. We beat Atlanta. Then Golden State beats us. Chicago hung tight with Minnesota. Chicago can beat Minnesota. They just can't finish games right. Angel slamming clipboards, and it's all good. But so Golden State just thumps us. Connecticut thumps Seattle. How did they manage that? Phoenix downs Minnesota. And Chicago beat Dallas. So Chicago gets another win. but they beating bad teams. But hey, a win is a win though. So, and then tomorrow what we got? Minnesota's in LA and Las Vegas is in Washington. So, and now we below 500. We 9-10. And we got Atlanta. And Atlanta's been playing well, but we always give Atlanta a good game. So we're going to see what's going to happen. And they got an opportunity uh, to get it done. So Friday is the last game before the All-Star break, right? Saturday's the All-Star game? No, Sunday's the All-Star game. Wait a minute. I thought the All-Star game was this weekend. Nope. Okay, so I'm wrong. So they got a couple more games. They got 2 more games, right? Yeah. I didn't even realize that. I'm thinking the All-Star game is this weekend. So my bad. One Eye Willie, listen, everybody was used to do that. They ain't treating Golden State like they're an expansion team anymore because Golden State is whooping ass. Nakase is a good coach, and she got them women playing. So, uh, uh, Steven, I'm just reading your stuff up here. Listen, I'm not. I understand what you're saying. I just don't agree with it. So we'll agree to disagree on that one. I agree with her. Um, Now I think her lineups work because let's go back to play by play, right? And hold on, let's do game charts easier. Let's go back to play by play. Now we in the first, right? When did she sub? She subbed. Lexi Hole came in at 5:24 for Caitlin. So you still got Kelsey and Ari in the game. And then Cunningham came in for Howard. So you still got a relatively small team. Sophie Cunningham is what, 6'1"? Natasha Howard, let me see. Let me see what they got them listed as. Sophie Cunningham, I thought was 6'1". Sophie Cunningham, 6'1". Okay. Natasha Howard is, how tall is Natasha Howard? Natasha Howard is 6'3". Okay. So I would consider her big, but not Sophie Cunningham. Lexi Hall is 6'1" as well, right? Where you at, Lexi? Lexi Hall is 6'1". So I'm not, that's power forward size, but that is not what I would consider a big. So to your point, you're right that small lineup, um, she got to get Demiris Dantas in there a little bit earlier. I like Demiris Dantas. I like the way she plays. She's strong down on the blocks. Timpson, every time Timpson gets better, every time she gets in the game, she gets better. However, it is my opinion that she needs to get better at timing her jumps because the girl can jump out the damn gym. Her timing is just off. Her timing is off. There is no reason why Michaela Timpson should get every damn rebound in her vicinity. That girl has got hops and she's got a long wingspan. She should be pulling down every daggone rebound, but she doesn't time her jumps correct. She doesn't time it right, and she'll get that with time. The more she's on the court, the better off she'll be. So, um, yeah, Willie, Kaylin was rusty, man. Rusty is an understatement, bro. Understatement. Yeah, Aries super small. Kelsey, I believe, is 5'9", so she's not that bad. Plus, Kelsey makes up for it in her strength and speed. Aries nowhere near as strong as Kelsey is. Yeah, New York is my pick to get back, and I don't see any reason why Minnesota can't make it back either. Because everybody that's going through their ups and downs now in the league, that's going to straighten itself out the closer we get to the end, and the closer we get to the playoffs. That's going to straighten itself out. Watch. I'm gonna have to get some t-shirts made. Let it play out. Let it play out. Let everybody see. I've been saying that. I said that since I've been saying that since I was in college. You know what I mean? So, but like even I used the example, um, Kelsey Mitchell was in the slump. Let it play itself out. She gonna come out of it. Caitlin Clark is in the slump. She gonna come out of it. Let it play itself out. Angel Reese played the worst game in her basketball career earlier in the year. Let it play itself out. That's what the great players do. Everybody gonna go through their struggles, but how do you look on the other side? How do you respond? And you see what she's been doing. You see what she's been doing. So um, let let it play out. Don't just assume that they're gonna be bad forever. That's stupid. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. Everybody stuck to this game right here. May 22nd against New York. She had 2 points. She had 2 points, but she was 0 for 8 from the field. Her 2 points came off of free throws. That was probably the worst game of her basketball career, right? And then immediately a double double, a double double. And then she had another stinker against Dallas when they lost against Dallas. And then since then, so she's had 3 bad games: New York, Dallas, and Indiana. When they came to Indy, we put it on them. She held it to 4 points, but even then, she still got 12 rebounds. But look at after that: 17 and 11, 12 and 9, 11 and 13, 17 and 10, 9 and 2. Kind of another stinker against Phoenix. 10 and 19, 18 and 17. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10, 1, 2. So that's 10 out of the last 12 games. She done had a double double. And I know I know I'm skipping one because I know she had a triple double in there somewhere. That was okay. That was Connecticut where she got the triple double. So she's doing the damn thing, man. Cover withstanding. She's doing the damn thing. You can say you can hate on her if you want to. And people are projecting because she's on a bad team. That happens all the time. Your performance gets overshadowed by the fact that you're not winning. And I understand that. That comes with it. That's part of it. That's part of it. So if White plays 3 guards you out, you can watch the Phillies. Hey man, Bryce Harper had a game tonight, didn't he? And this is even, you know what? I'm glad I said that. Because even with the situation with Bryce Harper, right? I'm kind of going on a tangent, but stay with me. Stay with me. So check this out. I put this up. So basically, sometimes folks just need to be quiet and let things play out. It's the same thing in baseball. Everybody got something to say about Bryce Harper. Everybody got something to say about what he should do. What is he? Is this a down spot in his career? And it's like everybody's got all these questions because he's not. First of all, he's hurt, and he's not getting up to everybody's expectations. But he's hurt, and everybody wants to brush that aside, and they think he gonna come back like Superman, but he's hurt, and they don't care about that. until a day like today happens, when he's like 4 of 6 or something like that, going the opposite field. So it applies to any sport, and people just need to remember. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many of y'all are baseball fans and Phillies fans, or whoever your team is. I'm from Cincinnati, so I follow the Reds, but they were killing the Phillies earlier in the year, and it's like it's 160 something games in the season, and we ain't even reached game 20, and y'all bitching already. Relax, pump your brakes. It's a long season, and everything ain't gonna change overnight, or a week, or 2 weeks, or in a month. It's a long season, so let them play it. Let them play it out. I thought that the worst thing about this loss today was they had to chew on this one through the All-Star break. I did not realize that they had a couple more games. They got 2 more games left, so they can get this bad taste out of their mouth. And what you want to do, you want to be at least above 500 going into the All-Star break, and they still have an opportunity to do that. So ultimately, I think Indiana's still a playoff team, but they got some work to do. They got some work to do. It seems like when they get in that funk, and you can always tell when it happens. You can always tell when it happens because they get on offense and everybody wants to pass the ball. Nobody wants to shoot. And I'm not talking about no slick behind the back passes through the legs, nothing like that. They passing the ball around the perimeter. Nobody wants to shoot. Nobody got confidence to fire up a shot. It's like, what are y'all doing? And every time that happens, that's when they end up getting in the bind. That's when Golden State had that 5-point swing. They get a shot coming down, they get a 2-point, and then we turn the ball over, and then they hit a 3. That's a 5-point swing in like 15 seconds. And that's how people get got. So Indiana has to be more consistent in their offense, because when they're not, they struggle mightily. They had some good defensive stops, but they did not convert on the other side. If you make the stop, you got to make the shot. But they couldn't do it tonight. Once again, not hitting sand at a beach. And then when they try to take it to the paint, Golden State had too many weeds down there, too many tall players. Kelsey Mitchell is your number one person to drive the lane. She couldn't get it done. Ari McDonald couldn't get it done. Kaden Clark was getting swatted. Everybody was getting swatted. Tammy Fack Bentley was balling. She might not have had a great day scoring. What did she end up with? Because she had a defensive game today. She was just getting it done. Tammy Fack Bentley. She had what, 4 points? She had 7 points. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. So she was filling up the stat sheet. The only thing she missed is a block. And if I remember correctly, she did get a block. I thought she did get a block. I could obviously they didn't score it for her, so maybe they thought it was something else. But Timmy had a good game on defense today. And it's just every time Timmy Fack Bentley against Ari McDonald. Really? You know who's gonna win that fight. So they got some things that they got to work out. And yes, I will agree with you that Stephanie White needs to shoulder some of this. However, to me, in my opinion, that is limited because Stephanie White don't hit jump shots. And I go back and look at every game, and I'm looking at these stats. And the good thing about this is, like when you go the play by play, you can get a video clip of every play that happened, so you can actually see what transpired. And I like using that because I can go in and see, well, when Let me see. When somebody missed a shot, was it an open shot? Was it an uncontested shot that just didn't fall? And to me, that's the key. That's the key. So here's one. Ari McDonald, get it. Kelsey Mitchell, create space. Open jumper. She doesn't hit. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about right there. When you get an opportunity to get an open shot, not contested, and you don't make that shot, you got to make the shots that they give you. Because now, if Golden State gets the ball back, and it looks like Lexi got it, but did they? Did she convert? Did she convert? Hall gets the rebound. Yes, she got it to Boston, and she got the layup. So they did at least convert on that. But I know a bunch of series from this game and others where they didn't. And then the other team comes down and hits a three, and then that's a real big swing, especially if you're looking at offense. That's a huge swing. But you got to prevent from that. So, you know, but again, you can't. Hold on, because I want to go through this. I want to go through this. So we'll just take it from this point, right? We in the second quarter, I believe, right here. Mitchell, she missed a pull-up jump shot. Missed. Gets the rebound. Boston converts. Uh, Kelsey Mitchell missed the running layup. I believe this is the one I thought was blocked. But they didn't get no points out of it. Hole gets the rebound. Ari McDonald's on the free throw line. Miss. 11-foot layup by Aaliyah Boston. Missed. Boston 2-foot putback. Missed. Ari McDonald, 25-foot three jumper. 25 feet jump shot from three. Missed. 17-foot step back. Missed. Then finally Sophie scored on a 25-foot three. So when you look at the entire game, how many of those open shots did Indiana miss? To me, that is the key in any game in the W. Who is making their open shots? You always gonna have stuff contested, and the other team gets paid too. But every now and then you'll get somebody that'll fire up something from half court, or they'll do something they ain't ready for. But you always got to have your shooters ready, and they got to make the shots. That's why I'm such a big fan of Lexi Hall. She doesn't take a lot of shots, but she makes the ones that she gets. She makes those shots. That's why they keep feeding her the ball. But they got to stop all of this putting around. Let Caitlin Clark play off ball and roll with that, because what they doing ain't working. And they got a good group. Heck, Natasha Howard, did she even get involved in this game? What did she end up with? She ended up with 4 points. Nah. You got to get her involved. You got to get Michaela Timpson. You got to get Michaela Timpson some practice, getting those shots up. Nobody can really jump with her. She's got to understand that. Nobody can really jump with her and body her. She is strong. She got them long arms. She can get it done. But they got time. 20 more games, or however many it is. You got the halfway point, then there'll be 20 more on the back end. So they'll be trying to figure it out. They'll be trying to figure it out. Hey, Willie, Angel Reese, she getting her skills back. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Angel Reese is getting her skills back. That girl used to dribble pretty damn good when she was in high school, and then she went down to LSU. She went to Maryland, and then she went to LSU, and they had her down on the blocks, and she kind of forgot that skill. You gotta get with the Zen master on top of the hill in the temple that touch you right in the middle, so you can remember who you are and your skill set. That's what she needs. That's exactly what she needs. But let's keep it moving and let's stick to Angel Reese for a second. Y'all know that she's the cover athlete for 2K26. I got 2K25 on my computer. I'm gonna cop 26 just because I'm gonna support. I'm gonna support. My question is, who gonna buy it? I think it's great that she on the cover. Who gonna buy it? Because this is, regardless of what you think of Angel Reese, this is gonna sell. This is gonna sell for sure. I'm gonna get mine just to support. Like I said, I bought the 2K25. I bet you I played it twice, but I'll get on Steam and download it just to support. I want that. Clark is the all-time leader in turnovers. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. But again, let it play itself out. Let it play itself out. The reason why when you control the ball that much, you're gonna turn the ball over, and she just does it more than most. That's one of the flaws of her game, and she got to get better at that. Do I think she's gonna stay like that? Uh Going forward in the next year? Absolutely not. That's gonna go down eventually, but that's a valid criticism. That's a valid those are my valid criticisms of Caitlin Clark, even though I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. She turns the ball over too much. She's not good at moving her feet on defense. And when calls are not going her way, her body language is trash. Those are my three biggest gripes with Caitlin Clark. I'm still a fan though. So I want to see her get better, but you got to be a hell of a lot better than what you're doing now. And that's just on facts. That's game observation. That's game observation. And I'll say it again. Everybody that's talking about Stephanie White need to be fired, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? What nobody asking about that when Kaylin dropped 32 on them in New York. Let me see. Who gonna cop this game? That's what I want to know. The girl got 4 million subscribers, 5 million subscribers, whatever it is. Is that gonna translate to sales? I'm curious because in about a month or so, they'll be they'll be broadcasting, the sales and because they want to know how they making that money. So hold up, I'm going back a little bit. What y'all talking about? They should put Lisa Leslie or Swoops. Man, you crazy. You crazy works. Because let me say this: just because you played or just because you were a great player does not mean you can coach. We have had numerous examples of that. In the NFL, Terrell Buckley was coaching for one of the teams in the USFL, and they ended up firing him. He ain't even make it through the year. And you already got a small sample size. But Terrell Buckley was a great player, just not a good coach. But what was the other thing I had? I got my notes. So yeah, we talked about the fever issues. I think Stephanie White, she'll get that together. Um, Anybody that watched the draft, if you watched the draft, did you see Or did you notice that Fee had her unrivaled shirt on? I didn't think too much about that initially, but it would be well within the owner's rights to call a conflict of interest against Fee Collier and against Breonna Stewart. When you got one wall full of people, um, lawyers, all of that type of stuff, when you're going into these type of negotiations, they ain't playing. They will use any piece of information that you got to make themselves look better during this negotiation. So we'll see what they are going to do, but they better get on the same page and quick because it is not. Um, the owners can say, "Hey, this is a conflict of interest," and that will start a whole nother set of circumstances and problems for Fee Collier and Breonna Stewart because they're both involved in unrivaled. What happens if the owners say, "You got it, you can't do that no more"? That's hurting our business. Yeah, twice. But anybody can get got. Anybody can get got. Indiana is not that good of a team where you don't have to worry about everybody else. They're not that good. Not yet, anyways. They might not ever be that good this year. They got to figure some things out, or they're gonna get bounced in the first round again. So this is an ever evolving. Yeah, they better than the Sky, but the way the Sky's playing, that's not hard to be when they at the bottom of the barrel. I'm talking about realistically. Um, Indiana, some people have said is poised to make a push in the playoffs and got an opportunity. And yeah, all of that stuff is true. All of that stuff is true. However, when push come to shove, you got to fight to get in the cafeteria. You're gonna have to fight that a little bit to get your opportunity to go in and get down to the playoffs. You gonna have to when you get in that cafeteria, you're gonna have to fight for your stake. So anybody's anybody's game. Phoenix has shown they can be beat. New York has shown they can be beat. We're beatable. So technically, who's the best team? I know what the record says, but when you look at it, I still think that New York has got the best team in the league. When Jonquel Jones comes back, Sab is killing folks right now. She's having a great season, but the whole thing with Sabrina, she had a great season last year, and she looked horrible in the playoffs or in the championship series. She looked bad. Um, salute. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't necessarily agree with that. She hits a couple more 3-pointers. Nobody's having this conversation. That's why I say it's like, yeah. There's nothing I can do to convince you. Let me say it like that. I don't try to convince you with my arguments. I'm just stating my perspective. Period. Um, they'll be fine. Yeah, Minnesota's got the best record, but Minnesota can be beat too. Everybody can get got. Everybody can get got. So who's gonna be able to step up? Because you got two big things, really one, in my opinion. You got one big thing you got to worry about. And Asia Wilson is learning this lesson as we speak. And that is you got to stay healthy. I saw that play on Asia, and the first thing I thought of was that's a running back injury. Because I've had that before. Where you falling down, you try to brace yourself, but you fall weird and you end up spraining your wrist, which is horrible for basketball players. So it is what it is. They got a lot of basketball to play, and they got to get it together. They've got to get it together. Nobody wants to play on Indiana. Can't make trades. I don't necessarily buy that. You got to have people. Listen, every time somebody has a player that's a contributor. Let me say it like that. Anytime teams got players like that and they want to trade, or a team or a player demands a trade or something like that, the person on the other end of the phone has to agree with it. It's not just like, I want to go play somewhere else. Somebody from Phoenix had to agree to sign DeWanna Bonner. And it's my opinion that she knew that before she left Indiana. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's gonna play itself out, Tiff. Gonna play itself out. So um we'll see. I just hope they can get it together. I just hope they can get it together. Mm. Got me yawning. I hear the thunder booms up here because it's storming up here in South Jersey. We ain't Our weather's been crappy the last couple of days. No, that was 2 games where she was 1 for 23. She was like 1 for 27 with over 3 games before she got hurt. So um I mean, could you say that she got out of the slump today when she was 2 for 4? Need a bigger sample size, but that's a start. I mean, she, like I said, let it play itself out. We're gonna see what she gonna do. We're gonna see what she made of. Can she overcome adversity and still help put her team on the map? They getting ready though. They getting ready. Because now we at the back half of the season. There's no more excuses. No more excuses. Yeah, I'm hearing it, but I'm not seeing it, Tiff. I know I heard the thunder boomers a little bit down here, but I'm not seeing it. That's why I'm about 5 minutes. I'm gonna shut this down because the last thing I want to do is have my computer open when the lightning is going off. So yeah, I got you. So I've been watching that radar. Shoot, I was supposed to go hit a bucket of balls tonight. Man, about 7 o'clock, them clouds rolled in. I was like, well, that ain't happening. Ain't doing that. So all right. We have one more thing to get to. All-Star weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Real quick. I just don't want no drama. I don't want nobody bitching about what Caitlin Clark did, her trading Cheryl Reeves. Listen, did y'all forget who did Cheryl Reeves cut last year and ran into each other on the plane? And Cheryl Reeves was like, yep, stewardess, can you give me another seat? It was one of the players that she cut from Minnesota. And they sat somehow, they were sitting by each other on the plane going somewhere. And the person was like, I will scoop up my little drinks, powders, and I'll leave if I got to or get another seat. But the girl didn't move. And the coach ended up getting a different seat. But that was funny. Yeah, she got a better 3-point percentage, but she don't shoot a lot. So yeah. Yeah, that's a if you're gonna do that, then compare her with AB, not Caitlin Clark. It's apples to oranges. So and she don't take a lot of shots anyways. So yes, you're gonna have the percentages, you know. It is what it is. So don't trip off of that. But that's the stuff I'll be talking about. That's the only reason you saying that is because that's a dig on Caitlin Clark. It doesn't really matter. Caitlin Clark is gonna come out of this funk and she's gonna come out firing. She's gonna have a game where she drops 30 on folks. You already know what's coming. You already know what's coming. So, last thing, Christine Brennan's book. Christine Brennan's book. Christine Brennan has been in the game for a very, very long time. She is an advocate for women's sports, whether you agree with it or not, whether you like it or not. She's an advocate for women's sports. The situation between her and Dejanay Carrington and Melissa Smith, in my opinion, Christine Brennan handled it the right way. She's smart enough to know things can pop off. So she told Melissa Smith. Melissa Smith went over there trying to base on her. And Christine Brennan was like, "Hey, I'm happy to talk to you," and was recording the whole thing on her phone. So that's how people do. You stick the phone in front of somebody's face and just let them go, let them talk, and then you edit it later when you get home. So all of this to do about Dejanay Carrington and her thinking that she was above the law and wasn't nobody gonna try to test her, and then before you know it, she calling folks, and the team releases a statement about what happened and what was said, and then it was like he said, she said. They gotta just like stop, just stop. So the Fever will be fine. Stephanie White is a competent coach. Let me say that again. The Fever will be fine because Stephanie White is a competent coach. Anybody in this league can get got. That has been proven. Anybody can be driven. So let it play itself out. Ain't no sense in crashing out. Ain't no sense in none of this. Caitlin Clark is going to come out of the funk that she's in. And hopefully they can all get on the same page and start making buckets and start winning these games. Because they open shots have been hot garbage. So we'll see. We'll see what it's going to do. So, but listen, man, I'm about to get out of here. Go get me some sleep. Go give me something to eat, and then crash out tonight. I'm trying to think if I want to get up early tomorrow and go hit some golf balls. I can go get to the driving range about 7 o'clock, hit a bucket of balls, and be home, showered, and be ready to go to work. So I'm good. I might do that, especially to avoid the rain at night. So, but we'll see how it's going. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Works World, I appreciate you, Danielle Dossier. I appreciate you. Salute Solvent. Dark Chocolate, I appreciate you as usual. Everybody in the chat, man, y'all been for real, and I love you and I appreciate you. Keep telling your friends and keep growing. Let's keep growing. Let's keep growing. I got to get to where I got like 100 people on the stream listening. So we got work to do. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Um, See y'all in the next game. I was about to say something about the All-Star weekend, but then I had to remember again. They still got a lot of games left. So uh, good luck to you. And I will see you soon. Probably tomorrow I'll have something for you. All right. But I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all have a good night. Talk to y'all later. Peace.